Right, come on, let's get straight into it then, Merce. What do you make of Gareth Southgate's squad?
Big decisions. Maguire must be injured. Must be. I mean, for me, he was a certainty to play. Never lets England down. Jack Grealish, shock. I know people said he ain't played a lot this season, but if you look at Pep Guardiola when he was fit, he played him in the big games. A lot of the big games he played in, Real Madrid games. Jack's reliable. Tournament football's different. I'm quite shocked at the moment with Gareth. Yeah, I am shocked to make big decisions. Fair play to him, but we'll have to wait and see now.
Are you shocked because he's gone against traditionally what he's done in past in terms of he's gone purely on form this time around, Paul?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that's probably what shook us. Usually he just goes with the tried and tested and you go, right, we know what they're going to do in tournaments. So they've got lorry load of caps, but he hasn't. Fair play to him. He's gone, you know what? Ezzy's playing well. Palmer's playing well. I think the lad Wharton is a phenomenal player as well. He's gone, bang, you're in. And fair play to him, but it is different. It's different. International football, playing in big tournaments like that is a lot different to playing week in, week out in the Premier League, and especially with the two players that he's took where everything goes through them at their clubs. With Palmer and Ezzy, everything goes through them. You get the ball, you give it to them too. And it's not like that with England. And, Jack's used to that, now playing for England. These two ain't. And I think that might be a problem in time, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Paul, you know what it's like to miss out, the disappointment on occasion. I mean, everyone says you could and should have got a lot more England caps. How do you think the lads will be feeling this morning, the guys that will have missed out?
I think they'll be devastated. Especially now, I expect England to win the tournament, if I'm being honest. So you'd want to be involved, you know what I mean? Where you be part of history, really. And I think that's the problem. I think you're going away here and we're one of the teams. If we didn't win it, I'd be quite shocked, if I'm being honest. I think it's out of us and France who win the Euro. So for me, that makes it even worse that you're not going to be part of it. And again, Rashford not even in it neither. I mean, it's, at the start of the season, even 4 or 5 months ago, football's a funny game. The players that have been left out, you'd have said they were absolute shoo-ins 4 or 5 months ago.
What about England at the back? Maybe looking a little short. I mean, it is expected it might be John Stones and Mark Gahey together at the back. The problem is the one and only time they've played together, England lost 4-0 to Hungary. Obviously, they face them again, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I like Gay. I do like him. It's different tournament football. It's different. You've got to be alive here. He plays at Crystal Palace where, Crystal Palace ain't got a lot of the ball, and there's a lot of pressure. So, you're playing on the halfway line. You're playing on the edge of the box. There's a lot of defending. You're always busy. He's going to be playing here in these games where we're going to probably have 70-75% of the ball in these group games. And you just got to be switched on the whole time. International football, you switch off for half a second and the ball's in the back of the net. I do like him, though. I am pleased that he's got an opportunity, Gay. I think I would go with him and Stones. But defensively, we're not the greatest. But at going forward, we've got so many options. And the problem's going to be Gareth getting them options right. If he doesn't get them right, then he's going to be up against it.
Lots of new look sort of players, promising players in the likes of Adam Wharton, another Palace player. You mentioned Ebere Eze from Palace as well. Kobe Mainoo has had a good season at Manchester United. I mean, Wharton's the one, isn't he, that most people thought he was going to be left out, but he's in there. How impressive has he been this year?
Massive fan of his. Massive fan. I like him. I think he's exceptional talent. I'm not shocked he's in it. I'm really not shocked. I mean, he gets the ball, he gives it, he sees a pass, he sees it very quickly, never gets caught on the ball. He's a dream for people like Saka, Eze, Kane, Bellingham, Foden. He gets the ball and passes. He reminds me of a young Gareth Barry, like that kind of player, just gets it, plays it simple, but plays brilliant, simple passes, which a lot of people don't play. So, yeah, I'm not shocked at all that he's in it. I wouldn't even be surprised if he played. I really wouldn't be surprised if he played. You know, with Rice and Bellingham and him, and then all of a sudden you've got Foden, Saka and Kane as the front three.
Let's talk about, I mean, how many caps just three of these players have between them at the Euros. Maguire, Grealish, Rashford, none of them involved. 150 caps.
Wow.
You know, in those three alone, there's this real lack of experience, isn't there, in terms of big tournaments? Is there a worry about that?
I think only time will tell. I think over the years, over probably the last 20 years, we've gone to tournaments with a lorry load of caps, and come away empty-handed. This time, I think Gareth's gone for the off-the-cuff kind of players like your Palmer, your Ezes, you know, your Waltons, your Mainus, you know, the unexpected, you know, who could shock other countries, who probably won't be as well known as your Maguires and your Grealishes. So that might work. It might work. I would have took Foden and Grealish. I would have took them. X Factor wins your tournaments. 7.5 out of 10 over 38 games will win you the Premier League. 9 out of 10s win your tournaments. You know, hitting a 9 out of 10. You see that with Chelsea this season. Lost in the semi-final of the FA Cup to Man City. Probably should have won that game. And lost in the Carabao Cup to Liverpool. Probably should have won that. Ended up coming, sixth in the league. So, 7th in the league, I think it was. So, for me, it just shows you they didn't have the consistency in the league of that 7.5 out of 10 every week. But they had days when they hit 9s out of 10, some players, and that was enough to get through cup competition. So for me, I think Rashford's a massive miss. I know he hasn't played well, and Grealish, but when they get hot, they are hot.
Yeah, time will tell, won't it, whether he's got it right. So, but like you say, no Rashford or Grealish. And it leaves Southgate with a few options in the forward line. We've talked about Eze, of course, the likes of Anthony Gordon's in there as well. Looking at that front six, I mean, does it more or less pick itself? Obviously, you're going to have Kane, Foden and Saka in there as well, Merson.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, Saka plays, never lets his country down, always plays. It's hard. You know, you look at Eze, you know, the way he goes past players, he just glides past players. You know, he looks like the X Factor. You know, you always get these tournaments where someone comes out of the absolute blue and they become a superstar. We've seen it in World Cups over the years. We've seen it in Euros. You know, for me, it could be the one. It could be, but Gareth's got to find a solution to get these players on the ball. It's no good for playing these games and John Stones and Gay are touching the ball more times than players like Foden and Saka and Eze or a Palmer if they play, or a Bellingham. They've got to find solutions. You know, too many times you put unbelievable players up front or in positions to get on the ball, and we end up not getting them the ball. So Gareth's got to have a lot of solutions. He's got to have a lot, and hopefully they get it right. I think they win the tournament. I mean, and the thing with it as well, as you said, Pete, them 150 odd caps or whatever, a lot of caps. Other countries couldn't do that. No other country in the Euros could do that. You know, and all three of them, you know, Jack Grealish would walk in and Rashford would get into every other squad in the Euros without a doubt, and probably play for every other country.
So, as obviously we've seen him, it's a very youthful side. Do you think perhaps, we've been chatting about this with Pete this morning, that Southgate is actually looking beyond the Euros, potentially even to the World Cup? I mean, his contract expires this summer, but does this look like another team that he's building going forward as well, that he's already thinking about what's next and him staying on?
If he don't win these Euros, he'll do well to get to the World Cup, if I'm being honest. I do. I honestly, in my lifetime, I didn't think we'd win a tournament. I look at this tournament and I look at the squad. I look at the players that are left behind, where you've put more pressure on yourself because you've left over 100 caps behind. If they don't win this tournament, I don't see England winning a tournament. I think this is their best opportunity they've had in so long. And I know we've had some unbelievable teams and unbelievable players along the way, but there's timings. And if you look at all the other countries, like your Italy's, your Germany's, your Spain's, they're not filled with world-class players. We've got one of the best centre forwards in the world in Kane. We've got Foden, one of the best players in the world, full stop. You know, Bellingham, one of the best players in the world, full stop. You know, Declan Rice, one of the best holding midfield players in the world. We've got players that are the best in the world in their position. I'd go as far as say Kyle Walker's the best right back in the world. You know, so we've got more better players than anybody else in the Euros. So for me, Gareth needs to win this. I don't think there's no planning. I think he needs to win this tournament. He'll do well to get the World Cup if they don't win this.
That's it. We're winning it. Right.
We're winning it. Come on, England.
We're winning it.
Come on, England.
I have just made up my mind. You've pushed me over the line. I wasn't sure this morning, Merce. Now I know for a fact it's coming home. Thanks for that, mate. You've lifted my day.
Thanks, mate. Thank you, mate. Have a lovely day.